All right, everyone, let's talk about a big topic, but it's a very important one, especially considering that coming up, we're going to get new content and new raids that have new accessories. And what I wanted to do is talk about how to get the most gold that you can selling your high-end accessories. So let's kind of walk through the various different steps that you're going to want to take to make sure that you don't sell yourself short. And this is really going to be a disaster if you get like a once-in-a-lifetime drop, a super rare accessory that is insanely good, and it sells for tens of thousands of less gold than it actually could have. So hopefully these steps will protect you from that scenario, as well as just making sure that all of your good accessories sell for the most gold that they can. And let's kind of walk it through here. Now, step number one is going to be an obvious one, but a very important one for multiple different reasons, and that's just knowing what actually makes an accessory good. There's so many accessories on the market, and there's so many of them are complete trash that are never going to sell. And a really big part of this is making sure that you don't actually waste your time, because all those accessories that are trash on the market, they're a waste of time. They're also a waste of your registration slots on the market and auction house. You can only actually have 10. And especially, I don't know about you guys, but lately I've been getting a lot of bugs and errors with the market and auction house where it's saying things like too many adventurers are searching, and it's just a big hassle. You don't want to eat more time than you have to doing things like price checking items, because if you know the basics on what makes something good, it's going to save you a ton of time price checking items in the future. So going into accessories, the first thing that you want to take a look at is obviously the engravings. Now, what I will say is it doesn't have to be perfect. Even if it's decent, if other parts of the accessory are good, it can actually still sell for a good amount of gold. And the current accessories that we have right now can have a maximum of +3/+3 to their engravings. But in the future, when the new accessories come out, I believe it can go up to +5 for an engraving. So it doesn't have to necessarily be +3/+3, but if it doesn't have +3/+3 engravings, it's probably going to have good bonus effects. And I can show you guys as an example. I actually sold an accessory that I knew was going to sell for a decent chunk of gold, even though it wasn't +3/+3, because it's a necklace and it still had good bonus effects. And especially important for necklaces because they have 2 of them. What you're really looking for, the most valuable bonus effect by far, is going to be crit. And if you have good engravings on an accessory and you also have crit, that's going to completely magnify the value of that accessory by a huge amount. And just so you guys can see here, if you go to the auction house and you guys see sale history, I actually sold, it was a purple necklace, and even though it's only a +2/+2, because it has crit and swiftness and it also has a blue quality roll, it still managed to actually sell for 300 gold. So it doesn't have to be +3/+3, but you're looking for 2 good engravings. Now, obviously, the necklaces that end up dropping, these ones right here, are going to have a guaranteed class engraving, which is really good because that's already going to knock out one of your engravings as being good. So now you just need the other one to be good. Even if it's not one of the class engravings, like that purple one that I sold, it had 2 other good engravings. Like, that's fine as long as it's just 2 good engravings, and also a decent bonus effect. It doesn't have to be crit. Crit's going to be the one that really magnifies the value of it by a lot. As you can see, these ones have swiftness. Generally speaking, the priority order is, crit. Specialization is also good for some builds as well. Swiftness, and then unfortunately, the 3 stats that are kind of going to be a brick that really are not going to sell on accessories are going to be expertise, endurance, and domination. So even if you end up getting really good engravings, if you end up rolling one of those 3 bottom tier stats, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to end up selling your accessories. So those are the things that you want to be on lookout for. Obviously, in last place as well is the quality. This becomes a bit more important later on as you're like getting into really geared stuff, but even if the quality roll isn't high, if it checked all the other boxes, this is now something that is going to be an accessory that you want to take a further look at. If it doesn't meet these benchmarks, don't even waste your time. Just go ahead and dismantle it, because not knowing these basics here, wasting your time price checking and trying to put garbage up on the market is just going to be a big headache that you don't have to go through if you know this stuff. So now if it does end up meeting these benchmarks, now we kind of get into the process of going further and taking a better look at what it actually might sell for, because at this point we've kind of narrowed down the trash accessories, stuff that's going to basically be worth what it dismantles into. But there's still a very big price range. I mean, we could end up selling an accessory still for anywhere between 100 gold to 100,000 plus gold. And what we want to do is try to take a look at other similar accessories on the auction house, as well as what other accessories that are similar have sold for. And this is why it's important when you go to register, and you try to put something up on the market, if you go to market value, you don't want to just do this and then use this as the only benchmark here. What I like to do is I'll click on this, but I'll also toy around with it. So this tells you, it goes to the market value page, and this is going to be all the stuff that's already actually sold. And because it's looking at something that's a little bit too specific here, you can see it plugs in 70 plus quality, both the engraving effects and both of the combat stats. That's way too specific, so we might need to, get rid of some of these here, kind of tinker around with it a little bit. You'd already know that at this point, an accessory has the potential to sell for a bit, so it's definitely worth spending 30 seconds or so tinkering around to get a bit of a better idea. Also, what I'll like to do is, market value, it's going to automatically default to the page of accessories that have already sold. Switch over to the search page. This is going to be a list of all the stuff that is still actually sitting on the market. So mess around with this a little bit, and this might end up giving you a bit of a better idea. It's not going to give you an exact number, of course, but hopefully this will narrow it down to the point where, we were at, like, it could be worth anywhere between like 100 to 100,000 gold. This should give you an idea of, okay, this accessory is worth approximately 500 gold, or this accessory is worth approximately 5,000 gold. It's just kind of one of the processes to go through to narrow things down a bit more. And now we go to the final step, and this is my personal strategy that I use. I really like it. You guys don't have to use this one, but I highly recommend it, and it's worked very well for me in the past. I've been using this strategy to sell items for years and years now, not just in Lost Ark, but I'll use this strategy in other games as well. And basically at this point, now that I have a bit of a better price narrowed down, let's just say as an example here that this necklace, we narrowed it down, and I think that I have a pretty good idea that it's going to end up selling for, let's just say 2,000 gold, right? I'm not 100% sure. It could sell for less. It could sell for more. But if I have a rough idea that it's going to sell for approximately 2,000 gold, what I do now in my final step here is I way overprice it the first time around. And what do I mean by this when I say the first time around? Well, at this point, what I will do is I will end up, if I think it's going to sell for, say 2,000 gold, I'll actually end up listing it for like 10,000 gold or 7,000 gold or something way above what I think it's going to end up selling for. And I'll set it to the lowest possible time that it can sit on the market. Now, you might be thinking, well, it's not going to sell, right? True. It's incredibly unlikely that it's going to sell if I'm way overpricing it compared to what I valued it. But the thing is, though, all this is really costing you is a bit of time, because even if it doesn't end up selling, you're going to end up getting your deposit back. And the key is, very unlikely it's going to sell. Let's just say I end up tossing it up on the market for, 7,777 gold. What I'll do is, after the very, very likely chance that it doesn't end up selling, when it bounces back to me in the mail, what I will then do is I will repost it on the market, but this time I will cut the price by approximately 30%. That's kind of like the magic number that I like to use, approximately 30%. So let's just say I list it for 7,777 gold for a registration period of 1 day. It doesn't sell. It bounces back to me in the mail. I get my deposit back because it didn't sell, so this didn't really cost me anything. And now next time around, I'll end up posting it for, say, 5,555 gold. Again, these are just examples here. Now, same thing. It sits on the market. Will it sell? Will it not sell? As we continue to lower the price, more and more likely that it's going to end up selling. But still, this is way overpriced compared to what I valued it at. It might not sell. It might take multiple rounds. But now we go again. This time, say, I sell it for 4,000 gold. If it doesn't sell, then, say next round I sell it for, 2,800 gold. And then let's just say one more time I end up listing it for like 1,899 gold or whatever. And this is the time that it finally sells. Okay, sure, it took 4 days to do this, but I ended up getting as close to what this item was actually worth because I protected myself, and the first couple times that I listed it, I way overlisted it, right? Now, even though it takes several days, I got as close to what it was actually worth as I could. Whereas if I originally thought that it was worth 2,000 gold, and I was like, I want to sell it quickly, I'm going to list it for, 1,200 gold or whatever. That's what causes you to sell your items short. That's what causes you to sell yourself short. And especially considering that, values of accessories can be so arbitrary. There's so many different stats and so many different combinations of rolls. It's really hard to get an exact value on something. Your estimate on what something is actually worth might be way, way off. You might think that something is worth like 2,000 gold, but in reality, you might be way off and it might actually be worth 20,000 gold. So now if you sell it for like 2,000 gold and it was worth way more, you don't give yourself that opportunity to get that extra gold. It's just going to instantly sell and you're going to feel really, really bad. And especially if you end up getting a once in a lifetime drop where something might be worth, 50, 100,000 gold, this is a scenario that you really don't want to end up in. And this strategy that I have with selling my items has worked very, very well for me. So I wanted to kind of explain it here. I wanted to give you guys the full rundown, and especially with those new accessories that are going to be coming out, with the new content, this is something you really want to make sure that you do correctly and get the most that you possibly can. Don't waste your time selling those garbage accessories. I know that this is going to take multiple days potentially to sell accessories that are good, but in all reality, like 99% of the accessories that you get are going to be complete trash. So you shouldn't really end up in the problem of having 10 things up on the market to sell at once. That's probably a problem of you not narrowing down your accessories enough. You're probably trying to sell too much stuff. You need to narrow it down. It's pretty hard to get good accessory drops, so having 10 registration slots on the market, even though it's going to take several days for these to sell, that should still be more than enough to be able to get the maximum value for all of your decent stuff. So anyway, that's going to be about it for this video. I know it was a bit more detailed, a bit more in-depth, but I thought it was an important one to put out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that this video helped out. If you guys did enjoy and it did help out, consider leaving a quick like. Consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And feel free to check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Salt, where I'll be streaming Lost Ark as well as other games in the future. Thanks again, everyone. Take care. Make that money in Lost Ark. And until next time.